This is my long-term review of the MJX Hyper Go monster truck. In this video, I'm just gonna tell you about all the experiences I've made with this truck over the last couple of months. Alright, so first things first. I don't think that this is a bad truck for the money, but I think that depending on what you want, there are some better options. Now, starting with some good things. The plastic on it is really soft and flexible, so you would have to try really hard to break this car from a crash or anything, especially with the 2S LiPo it came with. I'll just show you that right now. So this is the LiPo it comes with. The runtime's pretty short, I would say about 5 to 10 minutes with this one. It's a pretty small battery, but what I did was just run it on this Hobby King 3S LiPo, and without any modifications, that does not fit in here. But I just put a Velcro pad, just stuck that in there, stuck one on the battery as well, and then secured it like this, leaving just enough clearance for the steering to function properly. So that worked out really well. Now on 2S, the truck's already pretty fast. I would say like maybe 50 kilometers an hour, 40 to 50. Now on 3S, it's pretty quick actually. It's like 60, 65 maybe, I'm not sure to be honest. But 3S in this thing is almost a little bit too much to handle. So especially if you're a beginner, probably better to stay on 2S. Now another thing I liked about this thing is how easy it wheelies and does backflips and stuff. Now this truck has a pretty high center of gravity and is pretty short in length. And if you combine that with the pretty powerful brushless system in this thing, that means it just pulls wheelies like nothing and backflips really easily, especially on 3S. So that's definitely pretty fun about it. Another thing I like is how the body has all these strengthening supports in it, making it a lot more durable, and also these roof skids, which have gotten some abuse, as you can see here. I also quite like these tires. I think they're a little bit soft for my liking, but they're actually not bad. Now, this is the second set of tires that I have for this. And here's the first one. I'm just using that on my WLToys for street use now because, as you can see, they're pretty worn down. So by that, you can see that I actually used this thing combined with the scratches and stuff here and on the bottom, on the wheelie bar, and on the bumper, as you can see here. Now, as I've already mentioned, the brushless system is plenty powerful, and it's definitely better than like brushed, like you'd get in a cheap WLToys or something. It's also way more durable. Now, unfortunately, that also brings me to the first downside, which is the transmitter and receiver combo, which I've replaced for a little bit better but kind of ugly looking transmitter that I had laying around. And the problem with that is I felt like there was a little bit of lag in it, if you know what I mean. So basically you hit the trigger, the car took a second and then accelerated. You steered, the car took a tiny little time and then steered. So if you're a beginner, you might not notice that, but if you're a little more experienced at driving RC cars, that can hinder your ability to control the car perfectly. So that's why I've replaced the receiver and transmitter in this for my other one here. Another thing is the ESC being kind of weird, making it accelerate sometimes very abruptly and sometimes smoothly. So sometimes it will just pop a wheelie like nothing and actually land on its roof. Other times it will just accelerate really slowly, which is weird. I think that is because of this ESC right here. And yeah, I think they just saved a bit of money on that one. Another thing is when braking, especially at 3S speeds, the brake is like an on-off switch, it feels like. You can't just brake a little bit, it'll just full-on blast the brakes and make it flip over. So that kind of sucks, and it makes it a little hard to handle and to control, but it's not so bad. The truck's pretty durable. Now, the third problem I had with it was 1 second, was the screws of the diff case just completely tearing off. And these must have been made out of some low-grade material or something. And I'm not sure if this happened before or after, but in the process of that, the centerpiece of the differential also split apart, and one tooth of the rear input gear broke. So that's about, like, I don't know, $20 in fixing for all those parts, and those all broke in one go. Now that was around after, like, I don't know, a month of usership and maybe like 30 times I had driven it. Obviously, sometimes on 3S, which might be a little bit much for this thing. And this is not just a one-time problem, because my friend has the exact same car and had the exact same issue. So we both didn't break anything on the entire car except for the differential. So those are definitely a weak point of this car. So just make sure to get a spare one while buying the car. Now to replace that, it's actually not very easy. It's a lot of like small little screws here. You have to take this whole entire brace off. And yeah, but there are definitely worse cars to get to the differential. For example, like a Traxxas Slash shortcross truck or something, where it's just horrible. It's just encased in parts, feels like. So yeah, despite these issues, I think that for the price, this isn't actually a bad truck. Now, obviously, no car is problem-free or anything, but I think the diffs definitely are a bit on the weak side on this one. And apart from that, also the fact that it just feels weird with the stock transmitter while accelerating and steering. That's a bit of a downside, but also transmitter upgrades aren't that expensive, so I just recommend you try the stock one out, and if you feel anything is off, then you can upgrade it. So a possible alternative in a similar price range would be the brushless version of the WLToys cars, 144001, whatever. There's a lot more. And I think that for me, these are actually better because they don't have the weird handling and stuff of this one. And yeah, I think they're a little bit less durable from a crashing standpoint of view, but therefore the drivetrain is a little bit more durable. So I think it kind of evens it out a little bit. And yeah, for me, I definitely prefer these because they also have upgradability and the ability to turn them into like speedrun cars with a better brushless system in them. But yeah, if you're looking for a cheap 1/16th scale monster truck, this probably isn't the worst option. Just consider all the issues I've had with it, and if you expect those to be there, it's a pretty cool car. Like, you can definitely have fun with it. Now, I will be selling this one because I feel like monster trucks don't really suit me too well. I like to like drift around corners and stuff, and yeah, it's just, this type of buggy is just better for that. And yeah, there's that. Also, with the ESC that's currently in it, it still handles a little bit weird on the acceleration side. So yeah, that's another reason for me selling it. But again, as a beginner, you're probably not gonna notice stuff like that. And I think those beginners are what this car is aimed to. Alright, so thank you for watching my review of this car. If you feel like I missed out on anything or left anything unsaid, or you want have something to add, maybe alternatives to consider, be sure to write a comment and let me know. And if it's something that I think the viewer should know that you added with your comment, I might even pin it. So, you know. Alright, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this, or check out my other videos. I got like unbreakable A-arms for this car, for example. A TPU wing, not for this car, but for my bigger 1/8 scale cars. Stuff like that. Alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.